Welcome to the movies, pal. You're for the neighborhood Master Chaos, back with you once again. Sumo's joining me for a little bit. I hope you know how much he cares about you, and I hope you know how much I care about you as well, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Please remember, I like you just the way you are, and I appreciate you being here today. We're talking classic Christmas movie. Of course, I'm referring to the film Black Christmas from 1974, directed by Bob Clark. Black Christmas, the perennial holiday favorite. Now, a lot has been said about this film. What could I possibly add to it? Well, you'll be surprised what I have to add to it. Some of you might take offense, but I'm going to give you my honest opinion here, pal, and I hope you'll appreciate it for what it is. Off the bat, I do want to say this is a really good film. I really love this film. I think it's a good, solid film. Is it the best Black Christmas? Are you sitting down? I hope you're sitting down. I don't think so. I actually really like the 2006 movie, which will be my next review. This week on Master Chaos Theater, we're taking a look at Black Christmas the remake, and Black Christmas the feminist remake that came out in, was it 2019, something like that? 2019, I think. Anyway, taking a look at all three versions of Black Christmas and comparing and contrasting, seeing what works, what doesn't work, and, you know, picking a winner, in my opinion. And of course, two-way conversation always, so please leave it down in the comments what you think is your favorite. Now, let's start with the classic. This is a movie, of course, that a lot of people consider untouchable. Like Halloween, an untouchable horror movie. But today, you and I are going to look at it critically. We're going to look at it honestly, you know, warts and all kind of thing. And we're going to pick it apart. We're going to see what works, what doesn't work, and why, for me, this isn't the perfect Black Christmas. The plot of this film is sort of well known, so I'm just going to gloss over it. I won't spend a lot of time on it. Essentially, a bunch of girls in a sorority house. It's Christmas Eve. They're all getting ready to leave or whatever. And they keep getting crank calls by some weirdo who's leaving messages along the lines of, "I want to lick your meow meow." It's disturbing and creepy, and I think the bulk of the movie is essentially phone tag with this killer. Either they get phone calls from him, or when the police get involved later on, they try to track him so they can, you know, stop him from making those weird, obscene phone calls. What you have here isn't exactly a slasher movie. This doesn't really become a slasher movie till the third act, to be honest. I don't know when the last time you saw it was, but when you rewatch it, I mean, I've seen this movie like 20 times, but it's been maybe a good 2-3 years since I rewatched it. And rewatching it with critical eyes, I was shocked at the lack of actual on-screen violence. I thought this movie was really violent, but actually it's very tame. You know, by today's standards, but even by 70s standards, it was a little juicier. But I don't know. I was surprised by how tame it was, and the fact that essentially the first, you know, 3/4 of the movie is a missing girl movie. One of the girls, Claire, she's the first one to die. She's the one that gets a bag on the head. Claire goes missing. Her dad comes to pick her up. Hey, where's Claire? Oh, I don't know. We have no idea where she is. We know as the audience, she's up in the attic with the killer. For some reason, we don't know why he picked her. We don't know why he kept her up there. Why he's putting her in a rocking chair, just hanging out with her, singing Christmas carols or whatever. But she's the first death, and you know she's the only death for quite a long time. And then the house mother gets taken out, and then after that, we get a real drought of death until the third act. Drought of death. I'm gonna trademark that. I like that. It is essentially, where is Claire? That is the bulk of the movie. All her friends. By the way, the cast is amazing in this. Olivia Hussey, Margot Kidder, Andrea Martin. I mean, amazing. John Saxon, amazing cast. Really great, really solid acting. I think one thing that distinguishes this from the other movies is the really genuine human performances. Olivia Hussey's just interesting to watch. Not only is she beautiful, but she's just, the way she processes information, you can tell she's genuinely making a connection with the other actors. Just fantastic. Just really fantastic acting in the film overall. It gets 1 star, added just because of the phenomenal human, organic performances was hard to find in horror movies. Specifically, of course, when we talk about 70s movies, they have really good acting. And here, this is definitely an example of that when it comes to horror movie acting. Fantastic. But yes, the bulk of the movie is them looking for Claire. Where is Claire? Claire should have been in, she should have, called me, or she should have said, I'll be delayed, or maybe she left with somebody. No, she didn't leave with somebody. She has a boyfriend. Oh, the boyfriend gets involved. Oh, where's Claire? So basically the bulk of the movie is where's Claire. Turns out they never find out where Claire is. That's one of the problems with this movie, is that it gives you a serious case of the blue balls. I'm sure I don't have to explain what blue balls are to you. So blue balls is when you're trying to ejaculate, but something happens. Either the kids walk into the room, or your wife walks in and says, "What are you doing? Why are you watching lesbian porn? Oh my God, what is she doing with that?" And honestly, the blue balls is the biggest issue I have with this movie. Claire is never found. She is the impetus of the plot, and that's never even dealt with. It's sort of sidelined because the obscene guy keeps calling back. They find another a young girl dead in the park. That's another kind of weird subplot. Like, all of a sudden they're looking for another missing girl. They find her dead body. They think, oh, there's a killer on the loose. John Saxon is the cop who comes in late in the game, but he renews the energy. The movie kind of gets a little stale towards the middle. You're like, okay, is this supposed to be a slasher movie? This feels like I'm watching a drama. And then John Saxon comes in, and he really brings a new influx of energy to the movie, which is fine. He's really funny. He's very magnetic. He's John fucking Saxon. He rocks. So he comes in, and he goes, okay, well, maybe this obscene killer, or obscene caller, is the killer. So they're trying to track the phone, and like the third act, pretty tense. Probably the most tense stuff in the movie is the phone call tracking sequence, where they're trying to find out where the killer's calling from. Surprise, surprise, he's calling from inside the house, which doesn't make any sense because the killer is making really loud, obscene phone calls, and if he's inside the house, you would hear him because he's not like no, it's not ASMR. He's yelling obscenities. And he's like tossing out people's names, like Agnes and Billy. You're like, who the hell are these people? What's happening? Who are these people? And he's using different voices, which doesn't really make sense. And you would hear that. If you're in the same house, there's people that are alive on the second floor. They would hear, hey, what the fuck is that? Oh, wait, that's the phone call. It's coming from upstairs. But nobody does, which is very odd to me. Essentially, I'm not going to give away the ending. The third act becomes a slasher film, and it is a, fine time. I think that definitely the last 10 minutes are very tense, very exciting, but they're very blue ballsy because it's not exactly what you think it is. And then the movie just ends. And it ends in a very unsatisfying manner because we don't get any answers. We don't get any answers. Nothing is technically wrapped up. It's almost as if the movie stopped before it actually was supposed to stop. You know what I mean? If you watch the movie critically, now watch it from a writer's standpoint. If you're writing a story and you get to a point where, okay, now my final girl's going to face off against the killer, and then they have their fight, they have their chase, blah, blah, blah. We get sort of a false ending. Oh, funny. You don't end the movie on the false ending. And I get why they did it. It's a 70s thing. I get it. This movie's a product of its time. It's a 70s thing. It's creepier not knowing who Billy was. It's creepier not knowing who the hell he was talking about. It's creepier not knowing why he was there. It's creepier not knowing anything really about the plot or about the character. Kind of like Michael Myers, right? The first Halloween. It's creepier not knowing why the kid snapped. But Halloween, even though it's open-ended, that movie has a satisfying conclusion. Why? Because the final girl actually fights the bad guy a couple times, and the bad guy gets his, technically. Yes, he walks up and leaves. He gets up and walks away, but in this movie, we don't really get that. We sort of get that, and then it takes a turn, and then the movie ends. And that, to me, really affects rewatchability when it comes to Black Christmas, because I know I'm not going to be satisfied with this. This is almost an incomplete masterpiece, if that makes any sense. Sumo and I have come to the agreement that we're going to give the original Black Christmas 3 stars. I know that's really low, and I know this is kind of a classic and it's untouchable in a sense, but for me, as a writer, as a film fan, as a filmmaker, I really wanted to be as honest and brutal with my review. I didn't want nostalgia. I didn't want the fact that it's a classic define the way that I look at a film or rewatch a film. And having rewatched it, really critically, I really enjoyed the feel. It's very much a 70s movie. There's a very, slow, measured pace. There's a lot of dead air. There's a lot of character stuff. Olivia Hussey's character, she's pregnant. She wants to have an abortion. Her boyfriend is this like a really tortured artist, pianist guy who's like, no, I want to marry you and keep the baby. There's like all that kind of subplot stuff, which takes up a lot of room in your horror movie, which is fine. But I don't think it's one of those, it's a 70s thing because it's a character thing. It's a character piece. And I get how you kind of need that so we care about her. No, we care about her. We don't want her to have a little bit of that. But I feel like it takes up so much time that the killer stuff, the horror stuff is almost incidental. Almost like, oh, right, there's a guy in the attic. What do we do with that? And it does have one of my favorite lines ever. Margot Kidder says, and I quote, I may be paraphrasing, but she says, did you know that there's some species of turtles that can screw for 3 days? Now, when the screenwriter wrote this line, did he say, what would be great for a Christmas movie if we talk about turtles having sex? And you know what? He was right. Well, my friend, that is my review for Black Christmas. It's time to close the theater down. Incidentally, this is the first time I'm coming at you with a Mastercast Theater in 4K. So if you want to switch on your 4K on YouTube, go ahead. Ooh, 4K. Black Christmas, you know what? I like this movie. I don't love it. I don't love it because, and I hate to put it in the terms of it wasn't good enough. It's a great film. It's really well made. But honestly, it's a little slow, and it doesn't satisfy, at least my inner writer, and that really bugs me, that they could have connected the dots a little better. And the 2006 one does. As a matter of fact, I consider the 2006 remake superior. I know. Stay tuned for that review. That is coming up next on Master Chaos Theater. My friend, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. Am I forgetting one? Happy holidays. Happy all-around holidays. Do you like Black Christmas? Is this one of your favorites? Please let me know down in the comments. I'm dying to know your thoughts. If you're new here, do consider subscribing. If you do, you'll see me tomorrow. Master Chaos comes at you daily and sometimes twice when Sumo and I do Master Chaos Theater. I'd really like to see you again. It was really nice to meet you. My friend, I wish you the best. This is it's a crazy world. It's a crazy time. And we need each other. We need each other to laugh, to enjoy maybe some peace and quiet together. If this is one of your favorite movies, please let me know. I want to know. Two-way conversation. We're sitting around the campfire watching the snow fall and just enjoying each other's company. Okay, my friend. This has been your friendly neighborhood Master Chaos. This has been your Sumo. And you have been entertained.